So welcome back to Sarver's RC. Today we're going to be working on the 1/16 Mini E-Revo, or some people call it the MERV. This was the second car I picked up getting back into this hobby. Got it before I decided to start the channel. So this thing is already pretty upgraded. It's been one of my funner ones to upgrade. So as you can see, I mean, it already has GPM shocks, changed out to stiffer Traxxas spring rates, RPM front arms, the Traxxas extended rear arms, as well as did the recommended bearing inserts into the rockers to get rid of the bushings, as well as the bearings into the servo saver and whatnot. RPM axle carriers, RPM front bumper, the Traxxas wheelie bar. And I also did the center diff kit on this with, I found a forum that had a good setup for this car. And the center diff has 100,000 K diff fluid in it. So supposedly the center diff will keep you from stripping your front and rear diffs with 2S and 3S power on this thing. I also did the motor heat sink. And with that diff upgrade, I mean, it seems to handle the power great while still being able to do power wheelies and whatnot. And this car has honestly been a ton of fun. So today we are going to be doing the Hot Racing Servo Saver kit. So that there, and I'll put stills of the part number and whatnot, as well as the GPM push rods and toe links. So we're going to get these installed as well. And hopefully that'll, strengthen this thing up. It is a small car that moves really fast, so the more you can do to strengthen it up with still leaving some weak points to break, the better off you are. So I also picked up these MIP drill driver bits. So it's going to be the first time I'm trying these out. Everything I've read is this is the best stuff that you can get. So we will try this out and try to save the old wrist on doing it by hand. And I would recommend, though, you could use these to take it out, use low speed, low setting on your clutch. But as far as torquing when you're reinstalling, definitely do the final couple turns by hand. So that way you're not stripping out any plastic. So we will go ahead and get started. So you're going to want to remove this front skid plate. And these are 2 millimeters. Go ahead, and I like to keep the screws in all the holes that they came from. That way, just avoid getting improper lengths in the wrong spot. So next up, you're going to want to remove this arm here. So the kit comes with a new arm. We'll see once we're installed if it's going to be required or not. It does look a little bit longer, so you're probably going to have to reuse that. So next up, you're going to want to remove the toe links that's connecting to the servo saver. Pop that one out. All right, so we're disconnected here. This should release. Get this part out. So that way you can reference what screws need to come out, but I did install the ball bearings in these instead of those plastic bushings. Definitely provides a lot better steering response. So, like so. So it should just come off. Sorry, flung off at you, but you can see the bearing's still pressed on the shaft there. You know, I thought this was a complete kit, so I probably will at some point order this piece here. I'll mount your shock tower on the top, but that way this will be metal as well. So go ahead and pop out the bearing. So in this case, if you're using the stock bushings, you'll be putting your bushings back in. If not, if you do the bearing upgrade, which I highly recommend, you'll press your bearings in. And in this case, the bearing's already pressed down here on the bottom. It's got a nice urethane bushing in here that this should just press right on. That's about it on the, go ahead and get that bearing pushed off as good as you can. That's about it as far as the steering servo saver itself goes. Comes with the spring and everything pre-installed. So at this point, we will get to the toe links. I'll go ahead and time lapse getting the wheels off so you guys don't have to deal with any of that. All right, so at that point, all your wheels are off. You'll be able to access your toe links and push rods as far as what mounts the axle carrier. So go ahead and get these opened up, sorted out. Okay, so checking for reference to make sure I'm not installing push rods where toe rods go, but pretty self-explanatory. It comes with the ball joints with the screw that'll thread into your servo saver and the ball joint that's going to go in here. So next we will flip this over, go ahead and remove the rest of the tie rod assembly. with the plastic. So mainly you're getting rid of these because they're solid plastic and there's no adjustability. So if you want to set, you know, proper angles as far as your steering and wheel camber and whatnot goes, you're going to want to be able to get something that's adjustable. So obviously the piece without the nut or the bolt will go here. You're going to use your same screw that you pulled out. Thread that in a little bit to get you started. I'm going to go ahead and do this side on both of them, so that way we'll flip the car over and then do the underside connecting to the servo saver. Again, you know, using the power tools, you want to be easy on the trigger where you're not stripping anything. Again, I like to get it started by hand, get it through the eyelet. You got to have these positioned where it passes all the way through the eyelet. Actually, this is going to be threaded into aluminum, so I'd recommend putting a little dab of Loctite on the end of these. Just with the angle and length of this, it's easier to do with the hand tool instead of the driver. Snug those up. You don't want to over tighten aluminum. You'll strip the threads. whatever reason. Obviously machining's never perfect, but this one is a little tight going towards the end. All right. So comparing these steering links, the GPM one definitely seems to be longer. So we'll check fitment on this. So we're going to go ahead and use the stock arm. The other one just, in my opinion, seems too long. You know, maybe if you had an aftermarket servo or something, maybe that's what it's included for, but for what we're doing, it looked too long. So again, a dab of thread lock on what's going to be going into aluminum. Go ahead and thread that one in first. Then you're going to go ahead and connect it to your servo horn. All right, so there you have your hot racing steering servo saver installed. GPM front toe links assembly adjustable. We'll go ahead and do the push rods here, and then I will time lapse the rear since it's, you know, very similar process, short of removing these two rear bolts to release the toe links. So go ahead and get the push rods installed. So you'll go ahead and remove the bolt here, as well as up here on the rocker arm. And this smaller one is a 1.5 up front. Looks like a 2 mil up here at the rocker arm. So remember that for your reinstall. They're different lengths, so you should be able to tell it apart. One's a button head and one's a caps type Allen head. So all right, go ahead and remove your plastic push rods, and going to reinstall with the aluminum version. Just making sure in case some of these are directional in any way, shape, or form. Doesn't look to be. I think you just gotta adjust your rod ends accordingly. So we'll go ahead and start at the rocker arm. Snug those up. This is where you're going to essentially just lightly unthread to get your push rod at the right angle to reinstall that 1.5 millimeter screw. All right, so there you have it. There's one side. I'm gonna time lapse the rest. No reason for you guys to sit through a long video of doing the same process. So there you have it. The rears definitely were giving me a little bit of trouble getting them into the rears here. Just the tolerances are a little bit tighter with these ball joints, but as you can see, we got all the push rods and tow rods installed, and all that's left for you to do is slap your wheels back on and go have fun. So I'll have another video of running this setup. I also have the billet motor mount for the Traxxas / Ultimate install video coming, as well as I just ordered a bunch of stuff for the Traxxas Max, so billet shock caps, collars, springs, sifting up that suspension a little bit. Also ordered springs for the XRT, so expect all that to be coming. Might do a unboxing video of a car I've been hearing about. Maybe if it's a good car, maybe we could do a giveaway with something like that. But as always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. The more followers I can get, the more willing I am to do this stuff and put the time and energy into it. Thank you.